Some say it might be one of the biggest treasures ever to sink in the Gulf of Mexico. The French schooner, Queen of the Seas, going deep into the waters of South Padre Island with a load of loot in 1874. Cameron County Historical Commissioner Jean Fernandez has this week's Throwback Thursday.
We're going to time travel back to 1874, and this anchor has something to do with that story. It is a beautiful combination of intrigue and the ravaged forces of nature. In September of that year, there was a storm brewing in the Bay of Campeche off the Yucatan Peninsula, and that storm was headed towards the mouth of the river and the Brownsville, South Padre Island area. A four-masted schooner was coming in from the northeast to make safe harbor through the Brazo Santiago into the area of what was called Point Isabel at the time. The captain was racing against time because he saw on the horizons the makings of a storm. But so he wanted to get through that pass with enough time in order to anchor up and prepare for the storm that was to hit him. The captain's luck ran out. As he was coming into the pass there at Brazo Santiago, the water was going out to be drawn by the storm. He had gauged that he had enough of a draft underneath his schooner in order to make it into safe harbor, but he was wrong. And being wrong, it cost him because he settled up on a sandbar that was at the mouth of the pass. The lighthouse keeper was watching all of this unfold from the top of the lighthouse there in Point Isabel. That was Mr. Lightbourne, John Lightbourne in that era. As the schooner entered into the pass, the storm hit it at the same time. And Mr. Lightbourne, the lighthouse keeper, saw the ominous forces of the storm envelop that schooner. Now we're going to go up into 50 years beyond that. That was in 1927. There was an ambitious plan by Point Isabel and the people of the Delta area here in order to make a port going off through the pass and settling by Point Isabel. A dredge was called into the scheme of things. The dredge, Absecon, was dredging out the depth of that channel, and all of a sudden it hit something. They sent a team of divers down, and the divers were searching the bottom, and they found evidence of a shipwreck. Through the debris that was on the bottom, they saw bottles of wine. They brought the bottles of wine up to the deck of the dredge. The problem was there was a fly in the ointment. In 1927, the nation was gripped in prohibition. A government job, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and wine did not mix. The captain of the project said, well, we've got to demolish what's down there so we could clear the path. It was directly in the path of the channel. The depth charges were planted, and the wires were strung, the dredge evacuated from the scene, and then the plunger was pushed. A great geyser came up out of the water, and the people on the shore all of a sudden saw the water turn to wine. Biblical phrase. Then shortly thereafter, corks, wine corks, and bits of the crates and wood from the wreck and all of that washed upon the shore, and so the crowd scurried in order to collect little souvenirs. The captain of the project, as they were surveying the sea bottom, came across a great anchor. They brought it up to the surface, and they said, well, this is quite something for the area. Let's go ahead and give it to the Brownsville Chamber of Commerce. And they did so. They brought it into Brownsville, and they gave it to the Chamber of Commerce. Was placed in the Chamber of Commerce Park that was on Levee Street next to the river in Brownsville. And it was there for very many years. Do you see the elements that are put together in order to make stories that really embellish the beauty of our area? The ship captain starting in 1874 and ending in 1926, and all of this legend came down and trickled down upon us, and the rest is history. For KVEO News, I'm Eugene Fernandez.